People in New York still whisper that if you walk along the East River at dawn, you might feel a strange vibration beneath the water, like a heartbeat buried under metal and time. Most dismiss it as a passing tugboat or subway rumble, but historians know the truth. The vibration comes from America's first and almost forgotten secret subway, a system so ahead of its time that the government tried to erase it from history. This is the story of Alfred Ely Beach, the man who built a functioning underground train in New York City in complete secrecy and stunned the nation with an invention no one believed was possible in the 1800s. In 1867, New York City was drowning in chaos. Horse-drawn carriages clogged the streets, disease spread through filth and congestion, and newspapers warned that the city would collapse under its own population. Several engineers proposed underground railways, but political corruption, and one man in particular, blocked every attempt. That man was William Boss Tweed, leader of Tammany Hall, a political machine so powerful that nothing in New York moved without his approval. Beach knew that if he proposed his idea publicly, Tweed and his allies would kill it instantly. So he did something no one expected. He decided to secretly build the first American subway beneath the city, without permission, under the cover of night, right beneath the feet of the busiest street in the world, Broadway. Beach was a soft-spoken inventor, known more for his pneumatic mail tubes than for any large engineering project. Yet he believed that underground transportation could save New York. His idea was simple but revolutionary: a train powered entirely by air. A giant fan would push a tube-shaped car through a brick-lined tunnel, carrying passengers without steam, horses, or pollution. But to build even a single tunnel without the city noticing was almost impossible. Still, Beach had a plan. By day, workers entered a storefront at 260 Broadway, supposedly home to a small scientific magazine office. By night, once the streets quieted, they descended into the basement where Beach had secretly hired miners to dig horizontally under Broadway. They used silent tools, hauled dirt out in barrels hidden beneath sheet-covered wagons, and moved cautiously to avoid shaking the street above. Beach even paid off local police to patrol the block and keep curious pedestrians away. For 58 nights, they dug quietly, brick by brick, inch by inch, until they carved out a perfectly cylindrical tunnel running 294 feet long and 8 feet wide. What they built inside stunned the nation. At the center of the tunnel stood a 60-ton fan powered by a coal-fired engine designed to push a wooden passenger car forward using a force of air so smooth that riders described it as gliding on wind. The station, decorated like a luxury parlor, featured velvet curtains, fountains, chandeliers, and gold trim. Beach believed that if citizens saw underground travel as beautiful rather than frightening, they would demand more tunnels citywide. On February 26, 1900, Beach unveiled his secret subway to the public. Newspapers exploded with curiosity. A hidden train beneath Broadway, built in total secrecy, powered by air? Thousands lined up to ride it, paying 25 cents for a ticket. The car slid forward silently, pushed by the massive fan, and passengers gasped as they floated down the tunnel, amazed by the speed and comfort. Riders compared it to flying, others to magic. Even foreign visitors, engineers from Britain, France, and Russia, came to study the tunnel's design. But the most surprising moment came when Boss Tweed himself stepped into the underground station. Beach feared the worst. Instead, Tweed smiled and congratulated him. Why? Because public approval was overwhelming, and Tweed realized that opposing such a popular project might weaken his power. With Tweed's unexpected support, Beach submitted a bill to expand the subway across the city. For a moment, it seemed like New York's future had arrived early. America could have had subways decades before Boston, decades before London's electrification, decades before New York's own subway system. But fate, and politics, intervened. Just as the bill was gaining traction, newspapers began investigating Tammany Hall. Corruption scandals exploded. Boss Tweed's empire crumbled almost overnight. Legislators saw anything connected to Tweed, no matter how good, as politically dangerous. Beach's proposal was quietly shelved. Then, in 1873, the panic hit, a national financial crash that killed many ambitious projects. Funding dried up completely. Beach's subway, once a marvel, became an abandoned dream. The tunnel was sealed and forgotten. Over the next 30 years, as New York finally built its modern subway system, engineers occasionally stumbled upon old brick walls beneath Broadway. Some knocked on them and heard echoes. Others found old rails buried in dust. A few workers even claimed to have stepped inside the dark chamber, where the abandoned train sat quietly. Its velvet seats faded, its fan rusted still, the ghost of America's first subway. In 1912, construction crews officially rediscovered the tunnel during work on the BMT Broadway line. Reporters pushed inside, documenting everything. The old air-powered car still stood on the tracks, and the original iron fan remained upright, like a sleeping giant. Workers described the place as a time capsule, untouched by the century above. But instead of preserving it, the crews demolished the site to make room for the new subway. Today, nothing physically remains. Yet, some secrets remain buried deeper than concrete. In the 1990s, several utility workers claimed they heard insistent mechanical humming beneath the East River near an old service tunnel. Historians say that Beach experimented with a second prototype tunnel there, one that was never documented publicly. Urban explorers whispered that the remains of the first subway system still connect, fragment by fragment, beneath Manhattan. Whether true or simply legend, the story of Alfred Ely Beach proves one remarkable fact. America's future almost arrived 40 years early, driven not by steam or electricity, but by one man's determination to change the world from underground. Beach died long before New York finally built its modern subway system, and though the official records rarely credit him, transportation historians consider him the father of American rapid transit. He built a secret railway under the busiest street in America, fooled the most powerful political machine in the world, and gave New Yorkers their first taste of fast, clean, underground travel. The city may have buried his tunnel, but the echo of that first ride, the smooth rush of air carrying passengers forward, still lingers in the imagination of anyone who hears a faint vibration beneath the streets at dawn and wonders what forgotten inventions still lie sleeping under New York.